everyone, welcome to yet another Q&J. I'm Jay. Time to Q, and add J's to the Q's for Q&J. Today I will be answering your questions from last week. I'm going to be ignoring, I did read all the comments obviously, because last week I asked a question to you guys about J on J battle reports essentially, and there were a lot of comments. It basically came down to some of them liked the idea, some of them didn't like the idea, and some liked the idea providing that I didn't make it as choppy. So basically I took the ideas and I looked at the facts and stuff. So basically my idea based on your response is that I will make them occasionally. I won't make them in lieu of a normal battle report. I'll make them if I don't have an opponent for the week. And if I can't get an opponent, I'll make a J on J battle report. I'll be very honest with it. I might even label it J versus J battle report or something like that. So that way if you don't like J versus J battle reports, it won't fool you. You don't have to watch it. But if I have an opponent, obviously I will try to have an opponent. That's my number one goal, is to have an opponent. And if not, J versus J battle report. I'm trying to make it less choppy. Yes. So let's start with the comments, people. Yeah. The Spawn 117 or 117 or 11D7, up to you, says, "Hey Jay, how are things? Things are good. How are things with you?" The Spawn 11D7. I got a few questions for you whenever you do another Q&J again today. Number one, do you still like Grey Knights? I do. In fact, I just painted, that was for the Warp unfortunately, not for free, but I just painted up an Inquisitor Cotiez painting tutorial. So it was really good. It turned out really nicely. And I actually was filming a battle report with my wife. It was Orcs, the new Orcs versus Grey Knights. And like halfway through turn 4, the video card kind of went kaputski. And I had to I lost the entire battle report. And I lost 2 episodes of my series that I just started, the How to Play Warhammer 40k series. They were all on the memory card. I lost all of them. And it sucked really badly. But I learned my lesson, you know. Get new memory cards every now and then. But I got a new one, and it's awesome, and it has 4 times the memory of the old one, so that's a good news. Side note. 2, what are your thoughts on the Lord Inquisitor Grey Knights teaser trailer? I like it. I've seen it a few times. I thought it was pretty cool. What's your favorite Space Marine chapter? Mine are Black Templars, just so you know. My favorite Space Marine chapter, Imperial Fists, I think, are probably my favorite. Yeah. Imperial Fists. They're my favorite. Black Templars are really cool too. And I was kind of glad that they got put into the Space... I know some people were upset that they got put into the Space Marine Codex, but at least by getting put into the Space Marine Codex, they got some love and an update, and that's pretty nice. Because I didn't see them getting an update otherwise for Black Templars. And number 4, have you ever watched anime? Does Pokemon count? No, I really have not watched a lot of anime. I used to live with a girl named Charlene, and Charlene loved anime. She always watched, what was it called? Full Metal Alchemy was her favorite, and Princess Mononoke. She loved that too. So I know a few. I've watched a few episodes, but I don't watch, unfortunately, a lot of anime. I should check it on Netflix, because a lot of it is on Netflix these days. But thank you very much for your questions. Next is the Lads Lounge. Exclamation mark. Lads Lounge. Greetings from Wales. Greetings, Lads Lounge. Dark Eldar are supposed to be next in October. Oh wow, so it's going to be a big bit of a gap. Now, technically, since last week's Q&J, I found out that the new the new set that comes out with the Space Wolves versus the Orcs actually will have a rulebook in it. So I guess it's technically like a starter set. So maybe Grey Knights, not Grey Knights, Space Wolves, but we'll see. So apparently, according to Lads Lounge, Dark Eldar, which makes sense as well, because Dark Eldar are a 5th edition codex. The oldest codices right now in existence are Space Wolves, then Blood Angels, then Dark Eldar. So that's cool. As they had a new Incubi and Void Raven models coming, rumors. That's good. I like that. I like the Void Raven. Oh, and Jay, what are your thoughts on the Dark Eldar? I just started collecting just a few basic things, as I'm afraid the codex might change a lot like they usually do. Yes, I would be cautious with the Xenos armies right now. They seem to be doing some stuff with them. The Space Marines are Space Marines are Space Marines. They don't typically, they just adjust the points cost, and they had a couple cool new things. Like the Space Marines got the Centurions, but besides that, most of what you ran before would be run again. And yeah. Would you like to play them or fight against them? Dark Eldar? Yeah. As for a battle report versus yourself, don't be choppy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. You're one of the people who thought it was choppy. So, to answer your question, I like the Dark Eldar. Now, the reason why I didn't collect Dark Eldar was, which I'm actually covering in my series of videos. This is one of the reasons why I cover my series of videos. Just to let you guys know, part 2 of my series of how to play 40Ks is choosing an army. And that was one of the videos I lost. But the reason why I did not choose Dark Eldar was Eldar in my group of friends was taken. My friend Andy plays the Eldar armies, and he really liked Eldar, and he wanted to get into Dark Eldar. So did my friend John. So I just didn't play Dark Eldar. You know, what do I think about the army? They're awesome. They're great looking models. I love the look of, like, I love the sweeping sharp lines of the vehicles. They're great, and that many dark. What are they called? Darklands spam stuff is awesome. Now, they're kind of a glass hammer, but what I really love about Dark Eldar is no one plays Dark Eldar. So I've been to a few tournaments where a Dark Eldar player will come in and win the tournament hands down because no one builds a list against Dark Eldar, because Dark Eldar don't exist in most metas. So that's pretty cool. Cool stuff. Would I ever play Dark Eldar? In a heartbeat, definitely. They're a great army. I love the fact you can take so many vehicles and they just fly around quickly, and they're so fast. And I hope that they get some love in the new codex. And would I like to play against them? Definitely. I've taken, when I was working for Mini Wargaming, I faced Dark Eldar a couple times, and I don't mind. I gladly would play against Dark Eldar. Quincer says, "Hello Jay, I have a problem. I'm not really a fan of the bright baby blue, gray, GW paints, Space Wolves nowadays. So I'm wondering, do you have some good tips on darkening the armor down, but still stick with the Space Wolves look? Cheers and happy painting." Well, technically, you can really go, you can darken it as much as you want. Like, you can use a Ministratum gray, and then, well, you can mix your own bluish gray, essentially. Or you can use blue shades on top of gray. You know, you don't have to go with the light gray. You can go with any really shade of gray. You can go very dark gray if you want. And people still associate with Space Wolves, because the color gray is Space Wolves. So that's my recommendation. I know it's kind of a cop-out, but that's essentially it. You don't have to go with baby blue gray. You can go dark if you want. And even if you go dark gray, it'll still look Space Wolves. I recommend dark grays and reds, and it'll look great. Christopher Tucker, "Hey Jay, I'm good from last week. Hoping you're still well." Yes, other than memory cards. "Have you thought about doing one army per week with a set list of, say, 1,500 points that we could test play and then report back to you?" The set list. "I'd be interested in doing that for my Blood Angels, Eldar, or Necrons. Again, thanks for the smiles you bring." Thank you. "One last thing, that Dark Angels Orc Bat Rep was awesome." Thank you. They apparently liked it. "Have I thought about doing one army per week with a set list of, say, 1,500 points that we could test, play, and then report back to you?" That's a great idea. That'd be a good video series. Yeah, I'm going to consider that for future videos. Very good suggestion, Christopher Tucker. Chris Tucker. Wait a minute. Christopher Tucker. Chris Tucker? Chris Tucker. Great idea. You know what, I was thinking about doing that. That or asking you guys the opposite. Asking you guys for suggestions for my battle report lists. But yeah, I should definitely think about that. Great idea. Cipriano Lopez. Good name, by the way. Cipriano Lopez. Love what you're doing. Keep the hobby spreading. Thank you. Dominic Forver says, to answer the question on air compressors. Yeah, there was a question last week that I didn't necessarily know 100%, so I opened it up. Like any question that you guys ask me, If I don't know, I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to give, bad... I'd rather admit that I don't know than give bad advice. But I will obviously try to answer your question. So as Dominic Forver says, this was about could you use a compressor from a store for hobby stuff? Now my thought was you could, depending on the model. Certain models you probably could, certain models you probably can't. And Dominic Forver says that to answer the question on air compressors used with an airbrush, a hardware store one will work just fine as long as it has a regulator. That's what I was wondering, because other ones you think would be too strong. Yeah, it would just go at too high of PSI. If you get a 4 to 5 gallon version, it might even be quieter, only running once every little while. I run my airbrush anywhere from 10 to 25 PSI, which is pretty much the standard. I've seen some people use it as high as 30, but usually between 20 and 25 is where a lot of the artists tend to use theirs, depending on what you're painting at the time. Depending on the paint I'm using, exactly. Another accessory you might consider with the hardware store version is a water trap to collect moisture, which is a problem with air compressors with the tank. And Steve Jarrett says, cool, thanks for the info. That's great, thank you very much. Donus Little says, don't go political. This is a hobby channel, let's just enjoy it together. And that's exactly what I'm thinking too. I know you guys want to get to know me, but I hate alienating my audience, so I'm probably not going to answer religion, sexuality, Sisters of Battle questions, And, yes, the Oglemere, by the way, my audience members have really cool names. I can't even pronounce them half the time. The Oglemere says, well, gliding monstrous creatures get jinked now. That's true. That's true. Meaning a close combat MC don't have to fly to be survivable. Close combat monster creature don't have to fly to be survivable. That's one way monster creatures got better. Oh yeah, I know what you mean. I was wondering how monster creatures got better, but that's true. The thing is, monster creatures, they got more survivable in the air, but it's now harder to get them to the ground to assault. But it's okay. Us being tacticians, we'll find ways to make it work. It's not the end of the world. Christopher Tucker. Chris Tucker. Says, Jay, what do you think is better? Termies in a Land Raider, moving flat out, turn 1, and waiting until turn 2 to jump out and assault, or get Gate of Infinity pair, moving them up and assaulting. I can't decide which is better, and your Titanic knowledge and wisdom would be more than useful to help me improve my game. It would depend on how your Terminators are armed, honestly, but I really like moving them flat out turn 1. By moving them flat out turn 1, you put them in a really good position in the center of the table, and you don't expose them to your opponent. They're still in the Land Raider. So I really love to do is move flat out turn 1 and keep my Terminators inside. That's personally what I like. And then that way you can always respond, because especially if you go first. Turn 1, you move flat out. Then you let your opponent move. And now if they end up killing the Land Raider, your Terminators can get out and assault anyway. They're exactly where you want to be, so they're further up. And also, a lot of the time, then you're able to respond to how your opponent moves. And that way, so your opponent moves, and however, then you can decide what you want to kill. Move your Land Raider once again, jump out, assault, destroy. So I personally like moving up turn 1, especially if you're doing Dark Angels. Like what I love to do is I love to put Belial in a Land Raider. And if you decide to drop them in turn 2, which is an interesting strategy in itself, you can move up turn 1, deep strike them near the Land Raider because he has a homing beacon. But thank you very much for the question. Max Samden, you're churning out some great content, Jay. Keep it up. Thank you very much. I'm trying. That's what I said. My goal right now is to put out as many videos a week as I can. Yeah, that battle report I mentioned that was lost would have been in the warp, but still, it really hurt not putting out a video this week on that day. And I had to refilm. Like I'm gonna have to refilm the 2 episodes of how to play 40K. But it's okay. It happens, not the end of the world. As I said, you keep filming, keep making videos, and having fun. In regards to the solo bat reps, oh yeah. Yes, Yes, and then the rest of it was just about the solo battle reports. Sorry. But, and some people said yay. As I said, I'm going to start doing them because if I just can't put up, if I can't get an opponent, I'd rather make a video with me, just by myself playing a game that I love, than not making a video at all. And that way you guys still get content, and it's free content. So if the people don't want to watch it, they don't have to. I wouldn't make it instead. I wouldn't like intentionally reject an opponent to play a game by myself, but I would do it in case. Rapid 187 says, when will the warp be available to other countries? That is a good question. Please list, Rapid 1, what country you're in. Unfortunately, if you're in Germany, I've been bugging YouTube. Germany is the #1 country I want to get into. And I've talked to a Google person twice. I've just asked them the question. And they said, basically they keep saying as soon as possible. Germany is one of the countries. Right now they're tackling the European Union. And it looks like they're slowly introducing more European Union countries. And Germany is right there at the top of the list. Along with one other country. I forget the other one. I forget. But it is there. And as soon as Germany's available, I will put in the warp. Every time a country becomes available, what I'm doing is every other day, basically, I check the country list, and I keep adding them as we go. And now I did mention in some of my videos that I will be increasing the price of the warp. It will be going up August 1st. And the reason was, I wanted to get my price up to $6 a month. I might stop at $5, we'll see. But $6 a month, but I felt like it would be silly to start at $6 a month if you don't have any content. So I started at $3, and I'm rewarding those people who sign up earlier. So if you sign up now, it's $3. In a month, it'll be $4, and in a few months from now, it'll be $5. In 5 months from now, it'll be $6. But people have been asking, I've gotten this question a couple times from people saying they feel that I'm penalizing the countries that don't have the availability yet. And for those cases, like if Germany becomes available today, or even in a month from now, I'm going to start it at $3, and then 2 months later, I'm going to give anybody in any new country I put out 2 months to sign up at my lowest price. And then I'll up it by, same equivalent or whatever. Because that's the fair way of doing things, I think. Gotta be fair. Yes. Irish Minigamer CR. Good name. Hi Jay, guess where I'm from? Ireland? Or Boston? My last name's Irish. Long story that. From Cork. My grandfather was born in Cork, but he moved to the United States when he was 1, I'm pretty sure, and then moved to Canada when he was 5. So, Cork. And Limerick. Southern. Catholic. Just wanted to drop in my 2 cents, even though you Canadians have decided against them already. That's true. See, 2 cents in Canada is 0. Because they round according to the nearest 5 cents. So 1, 2, and 1 and 2 is rounded down. 3 and 4 are rounded up to 5 cents. 5 stays the same. 6 and 7 rounded down to 5. 8, 9 rounded up to 10. And now you know. And that's why in Canada we're wacky. We have plastic, colorful money, but no pennies. Yeah. This actually, the Irish Minigamer CR is actually gave a really good suggestion. And he said, my suggestion if you have trouble finding someone to play against would be how-tos and tacticas, like how to play 40k, how to play Orcs or Tacticas Death Dread, and how have in-game examples to play through as part of your video. That's a great suggestion. I actually thank you very much, and I'm planning on doing that. Well, my goal is to finish over the next, probably this week and next week, based on my free time. I'm going to finish up the how to play Warhammer 40k series. I want to get it all filmed, and I'm going to put out probably between 2 to 3 a week for the next couple weeks. And then once it's done, I'm going to do specific Tactica. And I want to get as many games in first before I start doing Tactica, because obviously I want to get, just to fine-tune the differences in 7th edition for each army. And plus, Orcs just got a new codex. I really want to keep playing with them. So I learned all about orcs. But I completely agree. Great suggestion, Irish Gamer CR, and I'm definitely going to be doing it in the near future. And then what I'm going to do is just focus on an army and spend like 2 days straight filming Tactica about each organization section and then themed lists. Great suggestion. Joseph, Nat. Joseph, Nat. So you're either Nat Joseph or Joseph and Nat. Says, hey Jay, I'm strongly considering getting into the Warhammer 40k hobby. Do it. I live in Peterborough. Oh, you live in my Peterborough? And I'm wondering how gaming community is. Because obviously if I am going to get an army, I need someone to play with. I know that Jeff's is really big into Magic the Gathering. But how is the 40k at Jeff's? See, I've been to Jeff's a couple times. And I've only seen I've been there 3 times just to see how things are going, and I've seen 2 games of 40k happening at the same time one of the nights. And I go on Monday nights, which is the gaming time. So anyway, I really enjoy your vids. You do a very good job. So if you ever want to learn and you ever want to play some games, contact me and we'll see. You know, smiles. Joseph Nat. Bobbington. Says bat reps with just you would work fine, I'm sure, and a great way of playtesting different Force orcs. Good, true. That's what I'm going to do. Try out some fun things. It was really fun actually just playing the battle report Grey Knights versus orcs, because I never really thought how crazy killicans are at shooting paladins. Now, unfortunately, the strength 7 I find means cans are really good at that medium range stuff. Like they're good at picking off infantry and light armored vehicles. They're no longer land raid or openers. So, it happens. A Skype battle report to Skype a bat rep. Well, another player at least, give him or her the laydown. Yeah, that's an idea. I did witness a couple Skype battle reports. I just need to figure out how to do it. Because right now, my only real viable computer is a desktop. And it's the one right in front of me here. But there's a desktop right here. And it's my viable one that I use for all my editing and all my video stuff. I don't know if my laptop would be decent enough. If I do... avoided that warranty. Do you ever feel like something's going on behind you, but you just don't know what? Jay's house. Yeah, Skype Battle Reports, great suggestion. If I can get a working laptop together, I was actually considering doing it in the future. Just my old laptop wouldn't handle it. So if I do get it one in the future, for sure. I really like the idea. I got to witness some really cool Skype Battle Reports at Mini Wargaming, and it was awesome. Andrew McCormack, hey Jay, can you do a video on the yen and supplement? I really should. Actually, my wife and I are thinking about investing in the near future in an iPad. So if that happens, for sure, I'm gonna just go Buckeye and do all the supplement updates and just go crazy. Unfortunately, I could not. The store near me, the place where I buy all my stuff from, they don't have the yen and supplement, so I couldn't get it. Also, I recently bought some models on eBay, which later turned out to be knockoff recasts. Interesting. That you do run the risk. Now, I don't mean to be prejudiced or generalistic, but if you look on eBay and you see a really, really good priced model from China, yeah. I like the Chinese. I was annoyed, but also surprised at how high quality. What are your thoughts on recasts? Basically, yeah, that's an interesting question. My thoughts on recasts is you get what you... They're cheaper, for sure. And the problem is I can't afford Forge World sometimes. I've never bought in a recast. I'm actually thinking about doing a series of comparing a recast versus a Forge World model and seeing if there's a difference. But with recast, obviously you get what you pay for. You're right. You're not getting Forge World or you're not getting Games Workshop. You're getting a recast. which some of them might be good, some of them might be not. So with that, there's the inherent risk that you don't really know what you're getting. Most of the really good stores, most of the really cheap stores that you see online from other countries, for recasts, they use, obviously, Forge World pictures, right? And you don't necessarily know what you're getting. So, but to be honest, I've never done it. And all the ones I've seen, I personally couldn't tell the difference until I picked them up. There is definitely a difference between Forge World resin and recast resin by weight. I mean, like, let's say you picked up a Tau Barracuda, and I picked it up, and it was really heavy. Like, really, really heavy. And I thought, Forge World wouldn't be this heavy. So, but obviously. So it's cool. It saves you money but there's a risk. But that's pretty much the same with all knockoffs. You know, it saves you money, but there's always the risk. And yeah, maybe one day I'll do a test and see. I just feel weird. I feel odd. Yeah, you know, talking about that. Because our hobby, I don't really ever want to burn Games Workshop. But, and also I've only seen it for Games Workshop models. I've never seen it for Privateer Press. Stephen John Rado. Great name. So Jay, please can you frame the shot better? So your head is in the center of the shot, just as it is. Apparently, well, see, I'm used to this way that we film this way, because according to Matt at Mini Wargaming, it's wrong to film it with my head here. So Owen and I always just got used to filming this way. Supposedly the professional way. I don't know. I just got used to it because at Mini Wargaming, I was always instructed to have my head here with minimal distance in between. So right now my face is basically in the center. But I hope this shot is better. Let me know, Stephen John Rado. Andrew McCormack, once again. Hi Jay, I forgot to ask earlier, I'm hoping to create a stencil or template to use on my Eldar jet bikes. I'm trying to make an extremely detailed template to place. I've the canopy of the jet bike to then use my airbrush on. Could you suggest what I should make this out of and how? Or even better, make a video on it in the warp, or for me. Love your vids, keep them coming. Thank you. Thank you very much, Andrew McCormack. There are actually really good, there's actual stencil, it's like clear paper. I remember seeing, I think it was Chris at Mini Wargaming was using them. And they're actually available, and supposedly you can print on them. So if you have a printer, I double check them, but leave a comment in the comment section below if you guys know the paper I'm talking about. But there's actual stencil paper that's sticky on one side and not on the other. And supposedly you can print on it, I think. That would be what I recommend checking out. I'll research this a bit and see if I can make a video in the near future, for sure. JBoo911 says, 911, sorry, says, I do prefer games against real people. Yeah, his comment. What was the voiced over? Next comment was by Red Rum about the games. Evan Christ says, long live Dr. Octopus. I like his name too. Dr. Octopus. The doctor is in. So, I'm starting a guardsman army, but I'm really concerned about where to go. I built my Space Marines a piece at a time. Tactical squad here, captain there, that sort of thing. But because that's what I can do to afford them, but it ended up with a lopsided army. What would be a good way to prevent that from happening again? Should I just wait and then buy a lot of minis en masse, or keep doing them piece by piece army thing? I personally prefer the piece by piece army thing. GW has been putting together these packages, or pre-packaged things that don't really save you any money. Another option is just looking at what's available used. That's been a great way, I find, of new people building armies of a new army. Is just look at what's used. Like, for example, go on Kijiji if you're in Canada or US, and check out what people are selling. And you can buy them en masse for a really good price. And that way you collect. And also, usually they're playing a specific army anyway. Like, for example, Imperial Guard. you got to have tanks. So that's one of the ways. You can buy a bunch of tanks at the same time if you want. Or if you decide to go like Lehman Russ formations, you can buy the Lehman Russes at the same time. So yeah, that's about it. You know, I find it is hard when you're doing one piece at a time. But piece at a time is, I find, the best way to do it. Because then you can buy a model, put it together, have it completely painted, and then proceed to the next one. So you can pay as you go, which is great because you don't have all the money to spend at the same time. And it guarantees, it really does increase the chances of you painting the models. I find a lot of people, like my good friend Owen, he buys a lot of models at a time and then has a whole big issue having to paint them all because it gets overwhelming pretty easy. But yeah, I recommend, I personally would stay piecemeal unless you find, look for deals. Because the deals are out there, especially with Imperial Guard. I've seen a bunch of Imperial Guard armies for sale recently, and you can pick up some good models for some great prices. Matthew Rutland, the Orc Blitz Obama is a lot of fun and quite effective. I killed 7 Warp Talons with 1 bomb. Excellent! I really do like the fact that they made the bombs less risky. The table seems to be a lot more, more fair and effective. Kevin Shelley, he says I should start playing some Maelstrom War missions. That's cool. But I couldn't do them. Yeah, they might favor one army over the other. Lewis James, 451, says, Hi Jay, I'm from the UK and I was wondering if I would be using Mech Guns in the future, and if so, which ones would you use? Mech Guns. I would definitely try the Shock Attack Gun. The Mech Guns. I like the Custom Mega Blaster myself. Oh, sorry, if you're talking about the mech themselves. Custom Mega Blaster is, to me, the would be the go-to mech gun because I really like it. It's strength 8, so it's great for pretty much anything. You know, you can shoot anything with strength 8. It does get hot, so you run that risk. That's the only problem is I've had a few mechs kill themselves due to the Custom Mega Blasters, but I like the Custom Mega Blasters. Those are my go-to. And they're AP2. So you can shoot Space Marines, you can shoot Terminators. I instant killed a Paladin with a Custom Mega Blaster the other day. It was really fun. You know, I like the Strength 8 AP2. It's really good. And also, there aren't that many guns that the Orcs have access to that are that high strength and that good of AP. You know, the rocket launchers are Strength 8 AP3, but I like the AP2 for killing Terminators, and it also adds that +1 that you need in case, you know, you're shooting at a Vindicator, for example. You need Strength 8 or better to pen it, and AP2 gives that +1 that you need to blow it up. So, yes. Isaac Neal, how hard did you have to focus during the last segment to not say the phrase "playing with myself"? A little bit. Somebody left a hilarious comment in the video saying that's what happens when you get married. You end up playing with yourself, and that was just like, oh, you took it in a direction I did not mean. Oh, yeah. And then Isaac Neal is definitely up for the idea of, Isaac Neal said that comment, and is up for, is definitely up for J&J Battle Reports. Doug Hemorrhage said, yeah, LOL, go for it, Jay. Do them as a tactical teaching session, helping people learn the rules of other armies they might face is always a bonus, while learning tactics on top. Exactly. Can't go wrong, mate. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Doug Hemorrhage, for your comment. Doug Hemorrhage also said, total legend, mate. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. You know, it's awesome that it blows me away that people from all around the world watch my videos. And he says, I'm from England, UK. Awesome. I spent 1 day in England once. I had to wait 19 hours for a plane at London Heathrow Airport. And no joke, no word of a lie, it was delayed due to sharks. I'll talk about that story some other time. And watch all your vids, even when you were at Mini Wargaming, LOL, when you steal people's models of the tables during battle reports. Yeah, it was pretty fun. And also, someone left a comment in one of the most recent sit-and talks from Matt, asking him, and he actually forwarded it to me too, asking him if I'm a legitimate klepto, which I'm not. I'm pretty good at sleight of hand, so I'm not gonna witness or anything. I just have this in my hand. But I always loved to do that, walk in and steal Dave's models, and then he'd ask me like 10 minutes later to steal models. I'm like, check the table. It was fun. I don't actually steal stuff in real life. I'm not a legitimate klepto or anything like that. I just have fun and like to play games with people. Mickey Ward says, "Hi Jay, I finally went and checked out the Warp, and on seeing how much stuff there is in there, I went ahead and bought a year sub, so keep it up here." Thank you so much, Mickey Ward. It really means a lot. Thank you so much. It really does. You know, as I said, I'm not going to be one of those people that's like, warp. My goal is to put out tons of free content, which is why I settled in my head about Miniature Painting 101 was the one thing I really debated upon, because so many people, like, you know, people from Mini Wargaming and Owen, they all recommended I don't put it out for free. But I love Miniature Painting 101, and I think it's a good start for new painters. And that being said, I want to make it for free, but the people in the Warp get a preview of the next, you know, lot of videos. But one will be free every week. And right now, I almost have, it's getting to the point now, where in a month, I will have enough Miniature Painting 101 episodes filmed to fill the rest of the year for free. So one a week for the rest of the year, you guys will get one. But that being said, feel free to go check out the Warp. I'm extremely passionate about the Warp right now. There's almost 50 videos already, and it's only been up for a month and a half. And there's battle reports, start to finish painting tutorials, and everything in Miniature Painting 101. So check it out, as I said. If you don't, no pressure. I'm not going to be mad at you, but I would love it if you check it out. And Mickey Ward also had a great suggestion. He said, maybe you should do them as more of a learning tactical exercise rather than as something competitive. If you can't line up an opponent, learning a new game, for example. That'd be interesting too. Yeah, great suggestion, Mickey Ward. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Grid is a very good idea, Mickey Ward. As more tactics. Or maybe I should just spend that whole day filming how to play 40k or Tactica. But it'd be kind of interesting. I was thinking it would be kind of cool to make a battle report where I think this is what you're kind of suggesting too, where if I'm playing against myself, let's say Grey Knights versus Orcs, two of my armies, I can actually go through line by line and be like, so the Orcs' best idea is now to move up here for these reasons, and now the Grey Knights would respond thusly and discuss that, and obviously then go through the shooting phase and the psychic phase, and why you might want to negate certain spells over others. That'd be pretty cool. Very cool stuff. Also, Grey Knights, they are nasty at psychic negation. I have played a few 7th edition games. Some of them are in the Warp, some of them are... I don't know if any of them have been free. No, none of them have been free yet for Grey Knights. I'm going to make sure that the next one for free has a Grey Knight in it. They are nasty. Since everyone's a Psyker, oh my goodness. My wife loves playing Grey Knights because on the Psychic phase, she's like, I rolled a 6. I get 14 dice. And I'd be like, I'm an Orc player. I get 6. So, Bradley McDuff. Jay, will you ever field Ravenwing? I actually have. I've fielded Ravenwing a couple times. Yeah, in fact, all the games that I played with for the League, the Warhammer 40k League for Mini Wargaming, Season 1 of the League, I fielded like usually between 6 and 9 Ravenwing per game, and I really like Ravenwing. Ravenwing are cool. I really gotta get the Banner of Destruction, or remember what it's called, the Banner of Devastation, because that alone makes Ravenwing just insane. Insane. Banner of Devastation. Insane. But there's actually a really good... Fluff-wise, it doesn't make any sense, but Ravenwing and Deathwing really go hand in hand, because turn 1, if you decide to deep strike turn 1 with your Deathwing, you just scout up your Ravenwing. They have teleport homers. You land right beside them with your... you land beside them with your Deathwing. So it's really good. Makes no sense fluff-wise, because they're not supposed to get along. Also, shame you don't live here. I play with Battleboards with you. I totally play with you too. I don't know where here is, but obviously I'm not there, which is here. I'm here. Deep. Ion LaRoad? Ion Iroad? Or Lon LaRoad? Is that an L or an I? I think it's I. So I think it's Ion Iroad. Pretty cool name. Jay! Just wanted to say hey, and my wife says she loves it when you shake your head. Thank you. Apparently, I'm neat. Side story, an elderly woman called me neat the other day. 85-year-old woman. She says it makes you look like Yoda. Look like Yoda, do I? I'm really enjoying the warp so far. Thank you very much. I appreciate you in the warp. As far as the J versus J bat reps, I think it's fine. That's great. Kinks worked out no time. Thank you. You know what? I'm not going to go into too much detail about the comments regarding my question, because every comment I read already over these comments, and like obviously I took it into consideration for the decision for sure. Stoner Steve. If Mordrak goes, I cry. I understand that. I like Castellan Crow. I haven't really used Castellan Crow. Not Castellan Crow, Cotias, sorry. Castellan Crow. Cotias. I really like Cotias so far. Yeah, he's pretty cool. Also, I need a haircut. Mr. Brightside / 8 Rightside. Hey Jay, have you ever tallied up the cost of all your 40k models before? I'd love to see all your minis laid out on a table. I'm actually going to be doing that shortly. I'm going to start with one army at a time. It's a lot. Now, I've acquired a lot of my models in the end through random things, various methods, not stealing. But it's a lot. Oh yeah. I'm surprised. Like, yeah. I have like 20,000 points, easy. And they're not in any big models. They're all in like little dudes, so yeah. Also, if you still have the box set models, would you ever consider doing a second edition bat rep for a bit of nostalgia? Or a campaign moving through the editions? That'd be awesome. I don't have the books anymore, unfortunately. That would have been a really good suggestion. Very cool idea. Do like first edition, Rogue Trader, third edition, and then it'd be cool to like bring in the armies that were existing at the time. You know, because back then, like second edition, there was no Necrons, no Adeptus Sororitas. Was there even Dark Eldar? I don't think it was Dark Eldar. It was Eldar. Very cool stuff. Good idea, Mr. Brightside. Right. Emmanuel Vizmara says, Jay, please tell me how you paint your Killicans or Knob Bikers. I need to know the blue you use. I actually use Calidor Sky. I painted them back in the day where it was Enchanted Blue, but it's really Calidor Sky with a black wash over it, non-watered down black wash. And that's it to get that color. It really is shocking, the color that results when you put the black wash over the Calidor Sky. But I will gladly do a tutorial. I ordered the new set with the Space Wolves and the Orcs. It was perfect because I need more knobs. I need one more set of cans, and I love that War Boss. So I was like, I'm buying it. It already made my money's worth. And Gretchen are cool. So I will get 3 more cans, and I should make a tutorial when they come. It'll probably be next week, I think, when it arrives, because it comes out on Saturday. So it's not a mail day till I'll probably get it next week. But I will. Yeah, I'll make a tutorial. Maybe I'll make one for free of how I paint my Killican way. A Cascanet says, would you be willing to do a Skype Google Hangout bat raps with fans? Something like Twitch plays Pokemon. Something like Twitch plays Pokemon. I don't know what that means, but maybe. As I said, I just need to figure out the logistics of making it work in my house. Because as I said, I just have one working computer, and I don't know how I'd get it wired in the other room. I could get a wireless card. I essentially just have to get a wireless card and then figure that out. But I'll see. I'll look into it. Steve Juranich says, thanks for answering my question last week. No problem, Steve Juranic. I know my Croatian name can be a bit of a stumbling block. FYI, I say Juranic. Okay, I can see that. But that's far from Canonical. My question, I know you have a Signar army. Are you looking at any particular Hordes faction to bring that side of the game to your channel? I'm a Protectorate Scorn guy myself, also as, read more, as far as J versus J goes. Oh yeah, and he talks about J versus J. And just a thought, keep at it. I love the warp. Cheers. Thank you so much. I don't mean to cut your question short. I just, it was full of really good suggestions for actually, I'll read it through, why not? Yeah, because I remember this comment. I think we could use these games to experiment a little with how you present the games, maybe making them a little more narrative. Personally, I don't like to watch long videos of dice rolling. I know what that looks like. That's true, very true. But putting a narrative spin on the game developments could be fun. Throw in some like dramatic camera angles and some narrative like the squad of Slugga Boys fired into the fire prism. Few found their mark. That'd be awesome. And those that did failed to penetrate. Yeah, just a thought. Keep at it. Love the warp. Thank you very much for checking out the warp. It really means a lot. That's a good idea. I wonder if it'd be better to do a voiceover style. Let me think about that. That's a really... I love these comments. These comments are just giving me so many ideas. You know? I think it'd be probably better to do it more of a... kind of like Miranda does with her battle reports for Wargamer Girl. Yeah, that might be a better idea for it. Interesting. Very good idea. Very good idea. And the last comment says, Mr. Scorn. Oh, sorry. You asked a question. I'm very sorry about that. Yes, I have actually 60 points right now of Scorn. I love the elephants. Now, I love Trollbloods. Trollbloods were my first passion. But my friend Rob plays Trollbloods. And so I love Scorn and Trollbloods kind of equally. So I went with Scorn when he went with Trollbloods. And I love Scorn. I love the elephants. I love the look to it. I want to try Moloch Karn. I heard he is hilarious. So, Scorn. Once I get a good amount of Signar painted up, I'm going to switch to Scorn to paint up them for battle reports. I would love to get a hybrid of one War Machine, one Hordes. So, Scorn. And also, they kind of play exactly opposite, I've heard, of Signar. So that's a really good compliment, so I can learn both sides of the coin, and it'd be great. So, yes, Scorn. And Mr. Scorn, which sounds like Scorn, that's what reminded me of the previous question, says, Hey Jay, really enjoy your videos. Thank you very much. With regards to battling yourself, while it does work, it loses unpredictability. Yeah, that's true. On a different note, what is the standard points cap for 40k games? I haven't picked up 7th edition yet, but I'm theory listing orcs. The standard points cost is actually up to your meta. Typically, it's between 1,500 to 1,850 points per game. At 2,000 points, you get the Double Force Orc and some interesting stuff. But most games that I've seen in tournaments, most tournaments that I've ever seen in this area or in wherever I've been to, between 1,500 and 1,850 points. Very good question. And that's the thing. That's true. And also a question. I just skipped over your comment about the J versus J battle reports. As I said, I just don't want to go into too much detail on them. That was my question. So thank you so much. You guys have given me so many ideas. That is the end of Q&J for the day. Wow. I've gotten so many ideas just from this session alone. I'm going to have to do some research and figure out some ways of doing things. But yeah, my goal for the short term is just to make as best of videos as I can as much as possible. And that's what my goal is. Well, not short term. Whole long term as well. I just want to keep making videos, have an awesome time, and keep having fun and making awesome videos for you guys. So, yes. So, I'm not going to leave a question today. I'm going to try something. I'm going to not leave a question because I did notice that a lot of comments were in the answers to questions and it just had me going through them. So, I'm going to try not asking a question this time. I have a question for you next week. And I know what it is already, so I'm going to ask that next week. But, yeah. So, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed this Q&J, and leave a comment in the comment section down below about what questions you want to ask me next. I will answer them, you know, as I said. It's Q&J. I got a Q and the J and put them together. And so thank you very much for watching. Please like the video. Comment in the comment section down below of questions you'd like me to know in the future. Until next time, this is Jay saying, happy painting, everyone.